Isn't it refreshing when free really means free? Whether you're a WagerTalk customer, a Sports Memo customer, a fan of our videos, or even if you're not a customer at all, everyone can get this week's edition of Gold Sheet for free. Enjoy write-ups and stat logs on every college football game this week to see the new and improved Gold Sheet layout for this season. To download, log into Gold Sheet's website using username free@goldsheet.com and the password free. No coupon, phone number, or email address is required. It's that simple. Come see why Gold Sheet has been this country's premier football betting newsletter for over 6 decades.
Hey guys, welcome in on a very happy Friday. September is upon us, and so of course is the college football season here. We had a couple of games last night, got a few more here tonight in week one, and then of course a full slate both Saturday, a couple of games Sunday, and even one standalone game on Monday, in which we're going to break down for you here, and we're going to do it with three of the very best at WagerTalk.com. As we welcome in, first time, long time, shall we say here, as Bryan Power joins us here, new to Wager Talk, and of course, it's a pleasure having him here on the College Football Kickoff Show. Some people need no introduction. Bryan Leonard in the house, and as is, of course, Dave Cokin ready to go. Three of the most profitable guys at Wager Talk in college football. And Bryan Power, welcome in, my friend. Quite the start here at Wager Talk. 5-0 already here in college football. You can continue to dominate 24-9 in all sports just in the last 6 days. Welcome in, man. What's going on at WagerTalk.com with you?
Yeah, great to be here. It's been a great run, obviously. You mentioned the 5-0 start in college football. Cashed West Virginia thanks to the hook last night. Central Michigan over the team total, way over the team total. It was set at 17.5. They scored 44. Always nice to win that way. And looking forward to a big weekend.
It'll be a huge weekend, and I know Bryan Leonard is ready to go here. Nobody juggles like you, Bryan. Baseball, college football, NFL, baseball, college football. Amazing job, as always, by you. Another profitable year. What do we got? Week one, college football coming up for everyone.
Yeah, we've won 11 out of the last 14 days. I did lose on the hook yesterday with Purdue, so we had a big winner on Tennessee and lost Purdue, but that'll happen. Nice to get one of those out of the way early. But I do have some plays up. I've got a nice 4% play up in college football on tonight's card, and we're number 2 in 2022 on our 4% plays and net profit. So looking forward to a really big weekend.
What, you didn't appreciate the 97 throws in under 5 minutes stopping the clock last night? No, neither did I. Dave Cokin in the house here, and boy, oh boy, off to another profitable start, Dave, to the college football season. You're number 1 all-time in profits with college football here at Wager Talk, and I know you got a couple of bets that are ready to go already at Wager Talk on your page. What else is happening, my man?
Just waiting for the results. Plays have been made, and you want to get them. They're up at WagerTalk.com right now. Got to beat the closing line in 2 of the games for sure. Looks like probably 3. And I'm pretty confident, so let's go get them.
Let's do it here, guys. And Dave will be the first one to tell you, as will Bryan and Bryan here. The all-access packages that are available right now, guys, timing is everything, right? Got to be first to the board. Being able to visit all 3 of these guys and hop on board with those 3-day, 7-day, 30-day, even full season all-access packages. That means when they get posted, you get them immediately. And every half a point, just ask, Bryan Leonard and myself about Purdue last night. Every half a point matters. So the sooner you get in, the better it is, which is why these all-access packages are huge when I tell you during college football and the NFL season. But we do have a couple of games here. Interesting one, too. Only one of 3 top 25 matchups in week 1 as Cincinnati and the Bearcats heading down to Arkansas to take on the Hogs here. 6.5, 7, somewhere in that ballpark there. It's come down to just a hair with the total at 53.5. This will be at 3:30 Eastern Time kickoff on Saturday. And Brian Power, we're going to start with you, my man, Luke Fickell, and taking on the Arkansas, man. How much do you like Cincinnati or don't like Cincinnati in this one?
Well, I like Cincinnati a lot, actually, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But the big story about this matchup, I'm sure everyone's going to talk about it, is the massive loss of production on both sidelines. Cincinnati is replacing Ritter, running back Ford, wide receiver Pierce. And on the defensive side of the ball, they lost their top 2 linebackers from last year, who were 1 and 2 in tackles, 3 starters in the secondary, including possibly the best corner combo in the entire country. I know that does not sound like the start of a rousing endorsement, but let's take a look at Arkansas. They have just 4 starters back on defense, and on the offensive side of the ball, lost 4 of their 5 top pass catchers, most notably Traylon Burks. So I don't think they're going to be able to exploit the inexperienced Cincinnati secondary here, especially because how does Arkansas like to move the chains, running the football? Speaking of which, player to watch here, Cincinnati running back Ryan Montgomery averaged 6.8 yards per carry on 46 touches last year. And for me, when you got 2 ranked teams playing like this, normally I find the favorites a little undervalued. But not in this spot. I do not buy Arkansas as a top 20 team. Cincinnati's 8-2 against the number. Its last 10 versus top 25 teams. Yeah, Alabama went poorly last year in the semis. Arkansas is no Alabama. I would absolutely take the points here. Best bet Cincinnati. It's going to be part of an afternoon best bet package, as a matter of fact. I like it that much.
Oh, all right. Heavy endorsement there. Interesting. I mean, they have lost a lot there, Brian, Cincinnati, but that offensive line returns for them. So some good stuff there. And the loss of Burks, he was used a lot in red zone opportunities last year for Arkansas. What do you think they can replace this year, if anything, without him?
Well, first of all, I'd like to welcome Brian Power to Wager Talk, the Wager Talk family, and it's nice to see somebody named Brian that knows how to spell it correctly. Yeah, I'm in agreement. I like Cincinnati here. Brian talked about all the losses for Cincinnati. They had 6 defensive players that went on to the NFL. The question you have to ask yourself is Cincinnati a program that can reload like that? I think they can. I think they recruit very well, and they've got somebody who's been in Ohio State, which is a place where they do great recruiting, and I think Cincinnati will be better than what a lot of people think. Now, last year, maybe both these teams were a little bit overrated. I still think Arkansas is a pretty good team. I made a lot of money on them in the past, but I'm surprised this line continues to go up. I liked it at 6.5. Woke up this morning and there's 7s out there, so I locked in on my 7 right here on Cincinnati. I prefer that side, especially when you consider Cincinnati will be without their starting quarterback that went off to the NFL, and you've got an Arkansas team that likes to run. Both these teams have good offensive lines. Both teams like to run. Both teams can stop the run pretty well. Anytime you've got a game in which you have both teams running the football, there'll be less points on the board. And to get that key number of 7, I couldn't pass it up. Give me Cincinnati plus the 7.
Cincinnati plus the 7, 2 for 2. And Dave, KJ Jefferson returning. A lot of expectations this year. Are you confident he can take that next step, especially passing?
I'm not so sure on the passing end. He's a dynamic player, but I don't know that he's the most accurate arm in the world. And the guys have already talked about the matchup, so I'll just talk about the line. And that's where I think there's some value here. The perception is, well, Cincinnati, they're going to be way down because Ritter's not there, and they've lost a lot of key guys. And, yeah, they probably overrated it last year. And they're betting Arkansas like the game's already over. Now, last year, Cincinnati would have been the favorite at Arkansas. I'll grant you the Bearcats probably aren't as good as they were last year. They're not going to be a playoff team this year. But you're going to tell me the line, there's not a 10-point difference because Cincinnati probably had been about 3 last year at Arkansas. I looked at my numbers from last year. Cincinnati would have been about 3. And now they're getting plus 7. There's not that much of a difference. Okay, so the market reaction is too heavy here. And it's created value on the dog. So I'll make it unanimous. I'm not going to play the game. I've already bet enough this week. But I would go with Cincinnati plus 7.
All right, got it. It's a clean sweep, guys. Cincinnati looks to be where the value is. Certainly liked by both Bryans, who spell it just the right way there. So that's a couple of top 25 teams going at it. This next one, boy, oh boy, this is kind of interesting here. How about Florida State heading to, oh, that's right, a neutral home game. That's probably a better way to determine it. LSU heading to New Orleans there, guys, to take on maybe an improved Florida State. Could it be? 3 is the number with that total at 50. Jaden Daniels, Dave, comes over from Arizona State here for Bryan Kelly. Is that exactly what this quarterback needs? You like LSU in this spot?
Well, that's a pretty good trade. Daniels, let me forget the player personnel for a second, because that's not what I want to talk about here. So I want to talk about Bryan Kelly. I've already gone on record and saying within 3 years he'll have them in the playoffs. He's going to get better players than he's ever gotten anyplace else at LSU. And he's already got good players coming back. LSU was an absolute off-the-rails disaster last year. It was all the off-the-field stuff. The team barely showed up for certain games. They're going to be focused this time around. Florida State, they're getting better, but I think the glory days for the Seminoles are long gone. I'm not wild about their coach. I think there's too many advantages on the LSU side here, and this is going to be like the first game. It's on the lean list for me. It won't be a bet that I make, but I think with what amounts to a home field, tremendous enthusiasm, I think LSU gets off to a good start here. I don't think it's going to be a plug by any means, but 3 to me seems like a reasonable number, and I would side with the Bayou Bengals here.
Okay, liking LSU. Bryan, Leonard, the total seems to have gotten a little bit of play too. 51.5. I'm seeing 50.5s showing up now. Even a little more Florida State love coming into the marketplace. But what do you think? Bryan Kelly, new year, new team, new LSU. Are you buying LSU to get it done here?
I'm buying the LSU defense. I'm buying the defensive backs for Florida State. I think we see a pretty good amount of running in this game, and I agree with that total going under. You got 2 really good. Well, the best part about both these teams to me is their defense, especially for LSU in this regard. And Dave touched on the home field advantage. I've been to New Orleans and love the city, and that's a big Bayou Bengal area, and they're going to be a major contributor here for the home fans for LSU. So even though it's not their normal home field, that's a huge advantage for them. Florida State's offense is set up to run the football, short passes. I don't think they have the big breakout receivers that they've had in the past. So I think the LSU defense should be able to slow them down a little bit. But I don't expect a major offensive output also here from LSU. I think they run the football, don't turn the ball over. Bryan Kelly is good at that. And I like the under in this game.
Liking the under as well. They are agreeing with the market move. And Brian Kelly, he had a history at Notre Dame of when he was a favorite. He won 40-1 straight up as a favorite at Notre Dame. Does that carry over here into LSU?
Well, my goodness, you read my mind. I was just going to share that trend. So, yeah, that's very impressive stuff for Bryan Kelly and the chalk roll. Interesting. Go back a few days here. I know on the program you guys talked about the myth of having a game under your belt versus an opponent who does not. That is the situation here. Florida State played Duquesne last week. Not sure how much can be discerned there from a 47-7 beatdown of an FCS team. LSU, this is the opener. But history says that that's no advantage at all for Florida State. In fact, quite the opposite. Interestingly, too, not just the trend with Bryan Kelly, but I wanted to bring up second year in a row he's opening against Florida State. Did so last year with the Fighting Irish. Held on in that wild one, almost blew the 18-point lead, won in overtime, 41-38. 3-point advantage final, as it just so happens. 4 straight losing seasons for Florida State. Dave brought that up. Mike Norvell, I think he's on the hot seat here in 2022. I also like this one under. That's the way 9 of Florida State's last 13 games have gone. And with all the transfers Bryan Kelly's brought in, I think we're going to see a more immediate impact on the defensive side of the ball. And then with Florida State, you got 8 starters back on defense. So Should be a pretty low-scoring game, I think. And something to watch or keep in mind big picture with LSU is they had 74 starts lost to injury last year. I believe that was most in the nation. So you got to figure they're going to be healthier in 2022.
Jaden Daniels is an enigma. Goes from Herm Edwards to Brian Kelly. It's going to be very interesting to see his transformation here and what Brian Kelly can do for him. But he wants to get off on a winning note there. LSU, Florida State getting ready to do battle here. And then, of course, we do have one more game, Monday night standalone game, and eyes will be on Clemson taking on Georgia Tech. 23 is the number there, total 51. Monday night, 8 o'clock prime time here, guys, as Clemson probably got a pretty bad taste in their mouth. Talk to me here, Bryan, Leonard. Georgia Tech, yeah, thanks for playing. We have some nice parting gifts. What do you think we're going to get here?
Yeah, this is an interesting game from a lot of different angles. Number one, it's going to be played on Monday night, and that means the line's going to go up on Clemson. I believe Dave liked this game a while back, put it out at a much better number, and it's a situation where I still think there's some value here, only because it is going to be played on Monday night, and you know the line's going to go up. Georgia Tech is a team that, if you read any publication, this is a team that nobody wants any part of. It's been a fade material team. So once all those people have read the Phil Steele magazine and they go to bet this game on Monday Night Football, you know which side they're going to be on. The problem is I usually like to fade all the teams that everybody else hates or loves. And that's where you get your value. Problem is I can't do it in this matchup. Now, Georgia Tech, there's no positives for Georgia Tech. This is going to be a do-or-die situation for their coach. I think he's pretty much he's a dead man walking at this point. But Clemson's a team, and I know from the past, I've talked to Mark Lawrence about this. This is one of his favorite opening game situations, is if you get a team with a good pedigree, has a bad season, you come back and play them in the first game because they want to take out some frustrations. Well, I agree. I think Clemson is going to do that. And if you take a look at last year, they did lose 3 games, but the teams that they lost to last year was Georgia, the national champion, NC State, the team that everybody wants to bet on this year, and Pitt, the team with the quarterback who went to the NFL and may end up starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think they will. But those are 3 pretty good football teams. Georgia Tech, unfortunately, is not that kind of football team. And so I like Clemson, but if you do like Clemson in this, bet it now. I doubt this number will be there come Monday night. I do like the favorite here.
Yeah, I wonder how high it's got to get before the buyback begins. Brian Power, what do you think here, my man, with this Monday night primetime game? Clemson getting off on the right foot?
Well, it was definitely a sign of things to come last year when they only won 14-8. Brian brought up, though, a lot of close losses, too. Dabo got that thing turned around, 6 straight wins. And for the sake of comparison, Clemson only puts 14 on the board last year against this Georgia Tech defense. 2 years ago, 73 points. I think it's going to be unanimous. No one wants any part of Georgia Tech. But with the line being steamed up, I'm going to get a little exotic here, I suppose, in how to fade Georgia Tech. Let's take a look at the team total, which is 14.5 for them. Obviously, simple math says, hey, you can score 2 touchdowns and we can still cash that. I like that. Those odds, because Georgia Tech the last 3 years against Clemson has, get this, scored a grand total of 29 points. That is less than 10 per game. So, yeah, Jeff Collins in a lot of trouble in Atlanta, and Clemson should roll. Don't want to lay the points at this point, but Georgia Tech under the team total is how I would play this one.
All right, looking under the team total. That total actually gone up a little bit, so I guess they're thinking all the scoring's coming from one place, Dave, and you've been talking about this game all week. It's been one of your big plays that you focused on all week across the board here on WagerTalk.com. Anything you want to add about this game and how to look at it?
Not really. I mean, Georgia Tech's got one shot to stay in the game. That's Sims. I mean, he's very inconsistent. If he has one of his good games, maybe they can stick around. But I don't think that's likely. Clemson's really good defensively. The running back room for Clemson is really loaded. So, DJ, I don't think he's as bad as he was last year, but even if he's just a game manager, as long as he doesn't screw things up, Clemson's going to go up and down the field. And Georgia Tech, they're worse than they were last year. They weren't good last year. They got just decimated in the transfer portal. The defense looks really soft. I don't think they're going to be able to stop the Clemson run. I think the Tigers do anything they want here. And Clemson is going to come in seriously motivated. They think they're an annual playoff team. So what happened last year, they're not happy about it. I think they take it out on Georgia Tech. They can't make the number high enough. I bet it at 21. I don't think it's any buyback until it gets past 24, which I think could happen on Monday. Clemson, best bet here on the show, as they've been on basically every college football show I've done this week, and we'll see what happens.
There it is. Clemson, it is. Dabo, he's been waiting for this day for a year now, man. He's a little pissed off, so it should be fun to watch. But don't forget also, Dave is ready to go week one. He's already got wins under his belt, but he's ready to go, guys. All you have to do is hop on board with that all-access package with Dave. He is number one all-time at Wager Talk in profits with college football. Hop on board. Now's the time here as week one is off and running. Visit his page at WagerTalk.com. Bryan Power, new to Wager Talk, not new to the game of cashing tickets here in college football. He's already done 5 already. 5-0 off to the start here, Bry. So talk to us about a best bet here. What game do you like a little bit more than the rest here?
Well, I'm going to roll with Cincy here. And just to add to the discussion we had, obviously everyone's talking about expected regression for Cincinnati. I completely agree with that. But Arkansas won more games last year than they had the previous 3 combined. So regression set to take place in Fayetteville as well. I think it could be Sam Pittman's first non-conference loss since taking over. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bearcats went in and took that game outright. So that's going to be my best bet here on the show. Cincy, like I said, it's going to be part of an afternoon best bet package I've got at Wager Talk this afternoon. Got a lot cooking for Saturday, including that 5%er that's already available.
Yeah, no reason not to head over there now, guys. Take advantage. Hop on board with Bryan Power there at WagerTalk.com. And Bryan Leonard, I know you've got a best bet for us, and I know you two are ready for week one. So what game you like a little bit more than the rest here?
Yeah, that's funny because before the show, we try to put in and let everybody know what our best bet is for the people making the graphics, and I'm all set to send Clemson in, and then I see Dave has Clemson. I said, I'll do something different. I'll give him Cincinnati. And then I look at it, and Bryan's got Cincinnati. So, unfortunately, I don't think enough of the other game and nothing else to use. So I will continue to use Cincinnati now that it's 7, although I do like Clemson, although the line's getting a little up there. But as I mentioned earlier, it'll move a little bit. But, yeah, Cincinnati's a team that I think they're a program that can rebuild or reload here a little bit. And as was mentioned by Bryan, Arkansas won so many games last year. They were very good to us. It was a special time last year for Razorback football, just a great season for them. And a lot of times you see a program come out of nowhere and they expect to add to that the next year, build on that. And it's just not that easy, especially in a conference with the SEC. So I think Cincinnati plus the 7 is a gift at this point. And I sprinkle a little bit on the money line myself. So I like Cincinnati.
And a lot of people didn't think Luke Fickell would last this long at Cincinnati, that he would have taken a job someplace else. But, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they're not fixing it in Cincinnati. But they open up against Arkansas. Bryan likes them, as does Dave, as does Bryan Power. So to recap it all for you guys one more time here in case you missed it. Look at that. Cincinnati up at the top with Bryan Power. Bryan Leonard agrees. Dave Cokin, in his defense there, Bryan Leonard has liked Clemson for the last 3, let's be reasonable. We started with Clemson. We're ending the week with Clemson. I think we like Cincinnati and Clemson here, guys, as best bets. But again, don't forget the full cards, including Bryan Power and his 5% best bet right now this week and available on his page at WagerTalk.com, as is Bryan Leonard's and Dave Cokin's. And I'm telling you guys, look into the all-access packages. That is the way to go. Don't get bad numbers. Get the lines when they come out and get the bets when they do. You can do that with those all-access packages of Dave Cokin, of Bryan Leonard, and of Bryan Power over at Wager Talk. And, of course, that's where you get the free live odds page. Did he say free? That's right. I said free. Doesn't cost you a damn thing. Make sure you're on top of that, guys. Head over to WagerTalk and check out that live odds page. Bookmark that, guys. Make sure you're referring to it all week long. And, of course, make sure you download the WagerTalk app, brand new. iPhones, Androids, smart TVs, you name it. Just look up WagerTalk TV. Download that app. Never miss a show. Hit the bell in the upper right-hand corner. Subscribe. And make plans to come back again next week as we get ready for week 2 of the college football season. Until then, on behalf of Bryan Power, Bryan Leonard, and Dave Cokin, guys, we appreciate you hanging with us. Best of luck with all your plays this weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday. Good luck.
Ready to take your favorite WagerTalk handicappers wherever you travel this football season? The WagerTalk TV app is now live for phones, tablets, smart TVs, and streaming platforms. Tune into your favorite shows like WagerTalk Today, Bet on It, and the Opening Line Report. Plus, browse through our extensive library of sports betting tips. Create your personal playlist of betting tip videos to help you prepare for the upcoming season, and set notifications to alert you when new content is added. Download the app for Apple, Android, Amazon, and Roku devices by searching for WagerTalk TV, or scan the QR code on your screen to join the winning conversation today.